Hello, everyone. This is going to be more of a potpourri of ideas and thoughts about what's been going on in the past couple of weeks, and some of my thoughts regarding what has been going on, what I've been seeing as a disturbing trend as far as freedom and liberty is going on in the world, and also looking a little bit reflective of what um, discourse had been in the past, the expectations of our behavior of our politicians and leaders. This is notable when we look at McCain's funeral. I'm kind of sad to say there are some conservatives and libertarians out there that are very were not shy to delight in McCain's death. I think this is kind of unfortunate. This is not sort of the um, image that we want to portray. Um, if we're going to be model citizens, if we're going to um, say how we feel about somebody is different from what kind of destiny we want them to have um, physically. McCain troubles me a lot. I did get to sort of know him on the radio during a long period of time. He used to be on the Imus radio show, and he and Joe Biden were also common uh, commentators on there, as was the many other people he had on the show that were a very off the cuff kind of conversations that Imus had. And McCain came out as a very a person who was very legitimate, someone who was very honest, um, did not broker to pleasing special interests, but sought to see America as a good country, was fighting for. As a good country, he was very much opposed to the United States participating in things like torture. On the other hand, he was very much a maverick, very much a neocon when it came to using military force in wars that should have been avoided, most notably Iraq, something I always opposed. As much as I disagreed with it, as much as I despise the decisions that uh, George W. Bush made, I don't would never suggest that they should die for it. I don't even believe that they should be marked as criminally liable for those wars. I think history can do enough to show how wrong they were, and they should be embarrassed and perhaps show the world that they have come in terms with that conflict in Iraq and say it was wrong. Um, that 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 needs to be done. We haven't seen it. McCain never did it. It was a total mistake. And having said all that, it always made me feel a sense of McCain as being a enormous war hero who endured a lot for his country and for his fellow servicemen. Um, in many respects, he was entitled to have that strong opinion about going into Iraq because he knew what war actually was. Nevertheless, I totally disagreed with him. Moving on just a bit, I want to look at the kind of reaction we saw during the eulogies of his memorial service at the National Cathedral. We had George Bush and Obama. Um, when you think of Trump speaking, I have to say George W. Bush actually sounded very coherent in comparison to what we were accustomed to with Trump. Um, Even more so, Barack Obama comes out and speaks as well, very in many ways overlapping their admiration for John McCain and also very, very coherent, a very well spoken person. Something that when you listen to it, Obama speaking again, you remember that, and I do like that kind of quality in a president. Something we don't have, this rash and harsh kind of tones, overly simplistic language that may appeal to a lot of people, but I don't think it measures to what the office demands. Having said all that, there was a terrible hypocrisy when I was listening to both of them. Even when Joe Biden, when he made his comments, his rhetorical skills are just excellent at times. He gets very emotional, and yet, but through those emotions, expressing a lot of meaningful thoughts that he's wishes America was that we talk to each other. You know that politicians can come to a table with genuine handshakes and um, make make conversations, enjoy dinner, talk about their wife and kids, or their husbands and kids, or golf, or whatever they want to talk about. That's lost in Washington. That is completely lost. Um, President Obama was not able to restore that either. And this is the kind of thing that I got out of the memorial more than anything. But hypocrisy still lingered. These are two presidents responsible for a lot of deaths. And a lot of people will say, well, it was Bush that got us into war. And that's true. But Obama was responsible for a lot of drone activities that killed, the estimates that I hear are close to 100,000 people in various countries, including Syria. Um, we see what the foreign policy of Libya and Syria has done to Europe today. And to go around as if there's no, there's a sense that they're above, between their lines, they're like, this is how it used to be. We were so smart, and kind of shunning the current president, who was shunned from any participation in these in the memorials to service. McCain was opposed to that. The McCain family was opposed to Trump attending them. Um, and I think that for Trump, I think he likes that. He wants that comparison. The comparison could be that, okay, Obama speaks very well, Trump doesn't. But Trump is also um, a person who is able to define exactly what he wants, the way he wants it, and without worrying about repercussions, what other people are thinking. And so you may not like Trump, you may love Trump, but you know what he's doing. Now we look at quickly the op-ed, anonymous op-ed about the rancor that's going on inside the administration, and that there are adults in the administration that are operating and trying to keep Trump under control. Whether this article is true or not, I think is besides the point. Certainly, the news media has a very strong interest in having something like this, particularly the New York Times. They applaud that somebody would write such a piece. Um, who it might be and what was their motivations, it's really hard to say. But I do think that there are people in the administration that don't like, maybe they like Trump's policies, but the way in which he conducts himself is where they're critical of. And that could be a major point that is being made in here, rather than just that Trump is unstable, because I don't think he really is. I think he's a lot smarter than the way the news media is projecting him. But what he's actually doing is trying to incite the left, the news media, to become so assertive that they look ridiculous out of the process, that they look like they're unfair. Um, he's trying to, when he said that he was draining the swamp, I understand more now exactly what that means. It's more coherent. It involves so much of American culture, and that's what really defines Trump at this point. And that's the big difference. You can say all you want about Trump, but he's not a hypocrite. Um, and unlike McCain, he didn't get us into wars. The body count, the amount of deaths in wars is considerably lower than Trump, and I like that. Um, he's not deporting people. Yes, he wants to build a wall. Maybe that's a good thing. Um, the economy is doing extraordinarily well. This is obviously a good thing. This is good for everybody that lives here. He's trying to support freedom throughout the world. One of the things I would like to do on that last count is for Trump to make sure that the internet remains free, because we're already seeing a persistent attack on thought on the internet and social media giants that are um, making a fuss to silence people. Um, we had an attack in Brazil. We see the disaster in Venezuela. We see the excess of people trying to leave Central America. And we need conservative voices out there as well as liberal ones. I don't like the left. I don't like leftists and Marxists, but their voices need to be heard too. Put them out there. Let's hear it. If someone has something that's kind of hateful, as long as it's not criminal, you have a right to say it. And you also have to accept the fact that people are going to react to it. What we need more is conservatism in the world. That's the problem in places like Venezuela, where communism really took shape. Is a big problem in Central America, where there's these Marxist elements that are entrenched in the politics there. We've seen Mexico going more to the left. We already have Europe going to the left. Conservatism can do a lot to protect certain vital elements in our society. One is freedom of speech, and the other is the freedom of capitalism. Not in its purest form. It can be regulated, but people need to be free. And the more freedom you have, the less reliance on government you have, the more likely you're going to see a lot of these countries turn around and prosper. They are never going to prosper with the status quo. And Trump, I hope, but it's hard to say because he gets such a harsh reaction, can persuade other countries to be more free, to have their citizens more free and have smaller governments. You give the power to the people and they will deliver. It doesn't mean that it's pure capitalism. We don't have pure capitalism in this country. But the more you go to the left, the less success you have. And that's been demonstrated over and over again. See you next time.